Hey, welcome back. We will do some magic today and we will try and fix the design to development handoff. And I think you will be pretty amazed what you can do today. Let's talk about the current state of design to development handoff. Being very brief about this, we are building the interface twice in most cases. So we are building the interface for the first time in Figma, and then the handoff happens, which is a very manual handoff, meaning that there might be some kind of a mechanism used in Figma where you mark the artboards, the UI ready for development. What happens then, the developer is picking up the design. What that actually means, they have to go in and inspect the elements in Figma. Sometimes they are able to copy the CSS and then paste that code to their IDE environment. So you're really doing the work twice, which obviously doesn't make sense from productivity, businesses, and obviously cost. Most companies will not hire developers just to do front-end work. It is usually a back-end developer that is being hired or a full-stack developer. A full-stack developer is most likely going to lean towards more of a back-end work than a front-end work. If you are a back-end developer, it is probably very unlikely that you will appreciate working in Figma. Figma not being your environment, I believe there is a way of improving this design to development handoff. And I think the first step for us to understand why there might be a disconnect today is the fact that we are actually not meeting the developers in their environment, meaning their IDEs, JetBrains, Cursor, or VS Code. So what we will look at today is Model Context Protocol, in short, MCP. What MCP, especially in our case, this is going to be an MCP server. MCP server is going to allow us to translate the data coming from Figma through the MCP server to the developer's IDE. This process is completely automated. The output in the developer's IDE is pixel perfect. It represents exactly the design in Figma, and it uses the correct components or web components that we choose to use. Let's briefly talk about Model Context Protocol developed by Anthropic, the creators of the family of large language models called Claude. So what an MCP protocol is pretty much a protocol that allows two applications communicate together to be able to understand each other. In our case, this is going to be Figma and an MCP client. In our case also, this is going to be Cursor today, but it can work with Windsurf, it can work with VS Code or any other IDE that can actually accept the MCP server. So the role of the MCP server is to translate the information coming from one application, Figma, and the IDE of the user's choice. We will use Material-UI components from Google, the version 7.1. It's a pretty mature design system, so it should work perfectly today. We will use an awesome Framelink MCP server today. There's going to be a link in the description to the GitHub and the page as well. We'll go over the setup on a Windows machine using Cursor, our IDE of choice for today. Okay, so what I have here is a Material-UI project that uses Next.js. This is just directly from Google's repository. And this is how the basic application currently looks like. Let's set up our MCP server in Cursor. And on the MCP tab, we will open our JSON file for the global MCP servers. Navigating to the GitHub repository, we'll just copy the Windows JSON code and paste it into the MCP server JSON file in Cursor. Now we have to go and find the authentication key in Figma. In Figma, we have to navigate to the settings page and then the security tab to create a new token. Just give the token a name, MCP YouTube, then select the expiry date. I'm going to select 1 day, and then the scopes. I'm just going to pick a few here just to enable the authentication key. We save that. So I'm going to hit save. It has generated the key. Now we have to copy the key. Once it's copied, we will go back to Cursor and set it up. So we just paste the key into our JSON file in Cursor. This is ready now. all we need to do is save. In our MCP server and cursor, we see a few options here. So we see that the Framelink Figma MCP is currently active. It has two tools, get Figma data and download Figma images. We can turn the server on and off, also refresh if there's an error. In Figma, I have a basic layout from the Material-UI kit that uses auto layout, which is important. And all we really need to do now is to select the elements and copy the link to the, in this case, to the artboard. Back in cursor, we will just put in a simple prompt. Let's create this app with a header and a main content. I'm going to paste the URL from Figma. We will ask to create this UI in the page that I'm going to specify. So I'm just going to drag and drop the page here and say to use Material-UI. And just kick it off. Now the MCP tool has been called. Get Figma data tool has been also called, and it's fetching the information about the project itself. This is the first time, so it's fetching all the information. It recognizes that I'm missing icons from Material-UI. And there it is. This is a sped up version, but it takes 2 minutes. It has fixed all the errors, and now we can actually go and see how it looks. Okay, and that's how it looks. This is running on local machine, as you can see. This is using Material-UI components. This is not hard-coded HTML. And this is actually very accurate to what is in Figma. I must say, very, very accurate. With all the hovers, obviously, because it's using components, so hovers, active state, drop-downs, all the elements, even icons are from Material-UI, which is pretty incredible. Let's look at it side by side. So side by side, left side is the code that was generated. As you can see, we are inspecting the code. And on the right-hand side, this is the design in Figma. Very, 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 very close. Slightly more complicated layout. We will have two components now. We will start with the kind of a tree view component first, and then we will do the rest and arrange them on one page. Well, the AI will do that for us. So again, we just need to copy the URL, and cursor, we just paste the URL, type in that this is a Figma component, and we are asking it to put the component in the correct folder. We don't have to do that, but just helps a little bit. And just kick off the process. So now it's calling the tool again, the MCP tool. It is creating a side navigation component. So that's the side navigation component created. There's a few errors here, but the LLM is going to fix that. It fixed it. And there it is. So this is on the left-hand side, it is the side navigation component generated by the LLM. As we can tell, this is Material-UI. Back in Figma, we will copy this more complicated layout with a table and images as well as avatars. So we just copy the URL and we go back to cursor. Back in cursor, again, we are defining that this is a Figma UI. We don't have to do that. It just helps a little bit to call the MCP tool. We specify the folder, components, and then the URL from Figma. And we kick off the process. We will use Gemini 2.5 Pro this time. So Gemini is thinking because it is a thinking model. It calls the tool. It creates the component. It is trying to find the place where it can actually store images. because it downloaded in this example images that we will use as avatars. And this is our page. Wow, this is pretty incredible. Just getting all of this done in pretty much 2 or 3 minutes max, using the correct components. Maybe you have to tweak the icons. Maybe there's a little bit of a padding difference. But it definitely, if it's not 100%, it is at least 80, 85% there. And obviously you can just take it from there. Let's just inspect this page as well, just to show you that this is an actual page. So there you have it, a little bit of magic. Share it with your developers, go play around with it, get your Figma access tokens, and yeah, just go visit Framelink MCP server. I'm gonna put the links in the description below. If you are gonna go and play with it, let me know in the comments below. It would be really nice to know if anyone is interested in this kind of a workflow. I think there's so much we can do when it comes to the design to development handoff, and I think AI can help us with that. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.